Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Wendy. If you're new here, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button. So today we're going to be making a three-tiered pumpkin and using some black and white gingham, some buffalo check, and some black solid material. We're going to cover them. And then I have a lot of foliage here, but I only ended up using these from the Dollar Tree, and I actually only used the little cotton parts. I used some of this filler that I got a long time ago from Michael's, I believe it was. And then this is a little topiary that I've had since, when Ivy was in style. And it's just been sitting in my garage. I think I got them at Ross's. I had two of them, but I'm just going to be using the vase on this, and I end up using some ivy leaves as well. And this was a really cute project that my daughter made for her college class, childhood education. And it's where you identify the parts of speech for a word. And so we're gonna recycle these and use them over again. But you really can use the Dollar Tree for anything, as you can see here. So I won't be using the dowels, but they're filled with this sand from the Dollar Tree so that it gives it some weight, and we just put it in through the top of these pumpkins because they're out of like styrofoam, so we just made little holes. And then I wasn't sure what color I was going to use but for the bottom vase, but I ended up using black and white chalk paint, and then of course the trusty old glue gun. So here's the Waverly white chalk paint that I'm going to use to paint the bottom vase. I first pulled out the little topiary part and then kind of wiped it down and just started putting the paint on there. And I kind of decided I didn't love the texture of the vase itself, so I went ahead and put a pretty full coat on to kind of disguise the roughness of it. But I wanted it to look old anyway, so I was going to come back and bring in some darker colors just to kind of give it a faux marbly look. So now I'm going to go ahead and take apart these pumpkins and paint them. I only painted two of them because the fabric, the buffalo check and the gingham, the orange showed through because it's kind of a light fabric, but the black solid fabric, you couldn't see the orange, so I didn't have to paint that one. So now I'm going to cut my fabric out, and I needed something big and round, so I just used this wreath form from Dollar Tree and a piece of chalk to kind of trace around it. And then I just cut that out and did that for all three pieces of fabric. So this was a happy accident. I think I found some inspiration for my next DIY project. So now I'm just going to wrap the pumpkins with each of the 3 fabrics, and I just placed some hot glue at the top and then just stuck the fabric to the glue, pulling and gathering and making sure to pull it tight so that there's no bubbles or, leftover fabric that's too loose or doesn't look like it's gathered all completely. And then you just go around all the way, and I did this for all 3 pumpkins. Once I got all 3 pumpkins covered in the fabric, I had to figure out what order I wanted them to be stacked in. And so originally I had planned to put a cute bow on top and was going to use the black one for the top. I still did use the black one as the top pumpkin, but I didn't do the ribbon and bow like I originally intended because it started looking like a little person. So, and as you can see there, I got some paint on the black pumpkin and the buffalo check one, but I fixed that with just a paint pen. So now I've figured out what order I want them to be in. Now I'm going to take some of this moss and place it on top of the vase just to give the pumpkins a little foundation to sit on. So here I'm just making a little opening in the moss so that the pumpkin sits on there nice and snugly. And then I just put glue gun or hot glue at the bottom of him and just placed him in there, and he's all set to go. And then I'll just do that with the other 2. And can you see that bow over there to the left? That's the original bow I had made for the top, but decided to do away with that. So now I'm just going to add some more of the moss to the intersections or where they're stacked in between all of the pumpkins. And I just used glue gun and just stuck it in there. And then I'll give him a haircut to kind of get it under control. So since I wasn't going to be putting a bow at the top after all, I needed to find a cute stem, and I had this other Dollar Tree jack-o'-lantern that had a pretty cute stem. So I went ahead and glued him on top, and then this is how it came out. I added just some other ivy that I had from a sprig on hand, and then just those 2 Dollar Tree cotton pieces, and just glued that all together. And I think that was all he really needed. Okay, so it wasn't all he really needed. He also needed some tendrils. So I took some of this black wire, and it's a pretty hefty gauge, but it stood up perfectly. And I just, after I wrapped it around a big long glue stick, I cut it off and kind of pulled it apart to make it separate a little bit, and then just glued him to the top. Now just taking a super dry brush with just a little bit of the black paint and taking most of it off, I just started dry brushing around the white with the black. And then I'm going to come back and put some more white on top of it so it's not so stark. And I love how it ended up coming out. So as I was painting the vase, I noticed there was this perfect spot where a little bit of raffia might be perfect. And so using some Dollar Tree raffia that I had on hand, I just made a sweet little bow and then embellished it with one of the little leaves that come on a little miniature clothespin, and just glue gunned it together, and here's how it turned out. So I think this would be super cute on a tabletop or as a centerpiece. It's also a good size, so it would work on the floor as well, like in front of the fireplace or somewhere, maybe in a corner or something. But I also had this lantern that I got from the Goodwill, and I thought it fit perfectly. So if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, comment, like, share. And most importantly, hit that big red subscribe button so that we can grow this channel. I appreciate it, and thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye.